Good morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. How y'all doing out there? Doing okay? Miss you guys. I pray that all is well. Thank you so much for joining me every morning for us to have our little quiet time with one another here at Hope for Today. I'm in 2 Timothy again, and God's grand vision of discipleship, and we're so excited about what God is teaching us here. I'm in 2 Timothy chapter 1, and I'm going to pick right back up with verse 5. Paul's been encouraging Timothy. And verse 5, he says, I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you as well. Man, this is awesome. Paul is literally so emphatic about encouraging Timothy that in many ways, he reminds Timothy that God loves you so much, Tim, that he was working on you before you even got here. And he says, I remember the faith of your grandmama. I remember the faith of your mama. And I'm sure that same faith dwells in you as well. We're again talking about encouragement. But I think it's important for us to think about two things. First, God's been working on you before you got here. And sometimes that's the difference between a hopeless day and a hopeful day. To remind yourself that regardless of the circumstances you may be facing in your life, God's not surprised by them. It may be your first rodeo. It's not God's first rodeo. And that God's plan for you, even though it seems shaky right now and uncertain right now, in his providence and his sovereignty, he's been working on you before you ever even got here, which means he knows how to navigate the moment you're in. But also secondly, insofar that you know that's true, what does it mean for you now to remind others that God has been working on them before they even got here? I love the passage because Paul is basically saying, you know what? I'm going to encourage you, Timothy, when you don't know how to encourage yourself. I think that's the real sweet thing about our God, is that even when I don't feel like showing up, he still shows up for me. I'm just telling you, Paul's encouraging Timothy something awful. It reminds me of this time I was playing golf. This is about 4 years ago with Pastor Ray Johnston of Bayside Church. And I'm a terrible golfer, and imagine how terrible I was 4 years ago. And I'm just swinging them left and right. They're going everywhere but straight. I'm getting a little down. I'm feeling a little embarrassed around the other guys. Y'all, I get up to the tee. True story. I get my driver out. I swing on the driver. I promise you, it literally went backwards. It went backwards. I hit it on the toe of the driver and it popped straight up in the air and soared behind me. And I was like ready to quit. I was just like, all right, I'm done. And I'll never forget Ray pulling me over to the side away from the guys. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he looks at me and says, you know what the great thing about you is? Whenever you figure this out, you've got so much power. The ball's gonna fly. And y'all, I poked out my chest and put my chin up and said, it is, isn't it? He found one thing that he could find to give me encouragement. And sometimes that's what God calls you to do as a dad and a mom and a brother and a sister and a coworker. That when somebody's just royally blowing it, like Timothy probably was in this moment, what does it mean for a big brother, big sister in the faith to find that one thing that can lift up their spirit? That's Hope for Today. I'll see you next time.